comes to making any top 10 list on the internet, there are bound to be people who disagree. And rather than go against that, I'm actually deciding to encourage it. If there are any birds on my list that you happen to disagree with, let me know in the comments down below. This list is totally my opinion, and I would be happy to hear yours. Before I start, however, let's get into the parameters of this video. So what exactly does it mean to pick the top 10 birds of Texas? Well, it can mean a lot of things, but I decided to have it mean the birds that are staples of Texas birding. This means that whenever you are in Texas, you will probably see these birds or be recommended to see these birds, whether it be for their spectacular traits or wondrous abilities. As well as this, I decided to only have birds that are resident in Texas. This is for two reasons. One, there are so many amazing birds that come to Texas and it would be just too much to try and narrow them all down. And two, when it comes to finding out the staples of Texas, it would only make sense to have birds that actually live here all the time. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to my top 10 birds of Texas. Number 10. The Great Blue Heron. There is never a time when you can't tell the bird you are looking at is a great blue heron. Its tall stature, beautiful blue tint, and long gray plumes all aid to the majestic appearance of this bird. Whether you are observing its stealthy, often motionless hunting strategy or graceful wing beats, the sight of a great blue heron is truly mesmerizing. The only thing holding it back is its commonality. People usually brush off the sight of a great blue heron because it can be found all throughout Texas. Number 9. The Loggerhead Shrike. People who know of the behavior of this bird understand why it's on this list. The Loggerhead Shrike are predatory songbirds that impale their prey on barbed wire fences or thorny vegetation. It is truly funny how such a cute bird is a fearsome predator. Although being common throughout all of Texas, they are easily overlooked and it is difficult to catch them on the hunt. However, if you happen to see this bird, you will be in awe with their striking gray and black crown and amazing traits. Number 8. The Rosetta Spoonbill. Being considered the crown jewel of the Texas coast, the Rosetta Spoonbill is truly a sight to see. Whether you see them hunting on the shores with their famous spoon-shaped bill, or see them relaxing in the rookery, the Rosetta Spoonbill sparks curiosity and wonder at the same time. Their beautiful pink and red bodies truly contrast with their almost bald and ugly head. However, every encounter is always memorable with the Rosetta Spoonbill. Number 7. The Greater Prairie Chicken. Although quite rare and only resident to a small part of Texas, you can't deny the beauty and marvelous nature of this bird. When creating this list, I knew the Greater Prairie Chicken had to be on it. I even remember going to see this bird as a kid. We waited for hours in hopes that this bird would come out of the brush. When almost all hope was lost, it finally strutted out and its striking yellow color beamed off the early sunrise. What an amazing sight. Number 6. The Great Horned Owl. This bird needs no introduction. Such an intense and fearsome demeanor is tied to the Great Horned Owl. Its massive stature and silent flight always turns heads at dusk. If you happen to get lucky enough to spot this bird, you will never forget the experience. Number 5. The Greater Roadrunner. Celebrated in legends and cartoons, the Greater Roadrunner lives up to its reputation as a speedy and spirited bird, commonly dashing along and across highways and gravel road. I loved this bird as a kid. It just seems so cool with its pointy head crest and its blue and red patch of bare skin near its eyes. I even put a picture of this roadrunner on a notebook I used for grade school. Number 4. The Purple Gallinule. Okay, come on now, this one should be a little obvious. Just look at this bird. The amount of beautiful colors all around the purple gallinule is truly astonishing. Considered the treasure of southeastern swamps, this bird has a combination of purple, blue, green, red, and yellow colors. If you happen to be lucky enough to see this bird out in the open, make sure to cherish that moment because it is truly a sight to see. Number 3. The Wood Duck. Again, Look at this freaking bird. Somehow the wood duck found a way to have more colors than the purple gallinule. Its beautiful head crest and back glimmer off the sun at all angles. As well as this, the newly hatched ducklings are so cute. Many of you have probably seen the documentary about how baby wood ducks jump out of their nests that are more than 20 feet in the air. And if you haven't, what are you doing? Go watch that. Number 2. The black-bellied whistling duck. Alright, people who live in more northern parts of Texas, or don't live in Texas at all, bear with me here. This duck finds a way to be one of the most common and funniest ducks in Texas. Like, these water birds, sometimes perch on telephone poles and roofs. Like, oh my god, I love this too much. And not only that, but when you really stop and look at these birds, you notice that they actually look quite nice. However, it's mostly because they truly are a staple of Texas birding that they are so high on this list. But they are just barely beat by the number 1 spot. Now, before I announce the number 1 spot, I would like to give some honorable mentions. There are so many birds that fit the description of this list, but just barely miss out because of certain traits or features. These include the northern bobwhite, the pileated woodpecker, the crested caracara, both the turkey vulture and black vulture, the tricolored heron, the eastern bluebird, and the red-winged blackbird. Now, with those out of the way, let's get into the number 1 bird of Texas. Number 1. The red-tailed hawk. This bird is such a staple to Texas birding. Almost everywhere you go and every trip you take in Texas, you will find yourself spotting this bird. And what an amazing appearance it has. Its colors aren't tacky and only add to its amazingness. Every turn it takes in flight, you will be graced by its striking red tail. I never find myself overlooking this bird and taking it for granted. It truly brightens my day every time I see a red-tailed hawk, for it reminds me of my home in Texas. Well, there you go, guys. There's my list for the top 10 birds of Texas. Let me know if you like this type of video and want to see more. And like I said before, if you happen to disagree with my picks, feel free to tell me why in the comments. But as always, thank you so much for watching.